my father was in the army, and my first recollection of singing was when he hoisted me on his shoulder, and I sang to the troops in this billet where he was, and they asked me to sing this little song, and I sang it, and I remember getting a big ovation, and that was the first time I realized I could do something right in my life, even though as tiny as I was. It felt a great feeling. It was a wonderful, and that's what started it off. And then eventually, as I got older, music, we were always singing around the house, harmonies. My father used to sing, very rarely sang the melody, always used to learn the harmony line on most of these songs that were coming out. So these crooners would sing, and the Guy Mitchells and the Frankie Lanes, and Dad would do all the harmonies, and I learned to do that just as easy as he could in the end. So it was a kind of in a strange way, a kind of a musical background, but it was in me. There was something quite profound. And then when I was about 10, I started to learn the ukulele. And then from the ukulele, it was easy to move on to the guitar. And then with the guitar came skiffle music, and then rock and roll. So it was one like a roller coaster ride, but fantastic.
Absolutely. And I mean, this year is your 85th birthday, and there's a new EP out. Now, that's quite impressive. I mean, does that seem like a feat to you, or does that just seem normal to you?
It's normal, but it's unusual in so much as I've not really put it out there. We sell CDs and things like that, but this one we actually put out to the public, and they've bitten. They like it. They really like the song, and in a funny kind of way, it came almost as a surprise. I mean, when you write a song, you think it's like having a loved one with you. You love it, cherish it, and there's sometimes things go wrong, and the public don't like it. This time, I was unsure, but the public it resonates, because the basis of the song. It was based on my life, part of my life, when my father was continually away during the war, and I was missing him, and it was a kind of a fractured relationship, which, in a funny kind of way, I'm sure it was the same with many people listening, never ever really repaired, because those early years are so important, and parents can't always be there with their children. Dads or mums, have to go and do jobs, whatever it is, and. So it can be a little bit of a problem. So my song really is about the father coming back and saying to the wife and child, don't worry, I'll be coming back soon, and this will all end, and I'll put my arms around you and give you a big hug. It's not a complicated song, but I think it hits the spark. I think it hits a little spark in people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so great to hear about the songs on your EP, and we know that there is another track which is a tribute to your musical icon, I've heard, Elvis. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, Elvis started when I was 16 and a half, I think, nearly 17, and my friend, we were in a little skiffle group together, as I said earlier, and he said, I've got an album, he said. I said, who is it? He said, I'm selling it. He said, would you like to buy it? I said, who is it? He said, Elvis Presley. I said, well, I've heard one of his tracks. I said, Heartbreak Hotel, but there's so much echo on the voice. I'm not sure I really like him at all. So he said, well, if you take it or leave it. It's 17 and 6. But funny, the album is here now in this room with me. It's still got the same album. It's a bit torn up now, the cover, but it's still there. And he said, I took it home, the album, and it blew me away. Elvis Presley and Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana and Bill Black, the trio behind him, blew me away, and that was it. And I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew where I was going to go. And the song says, because I've said it before that Elvis was the blueprint for so many of us, because even to this day you can see shades of what the kind of thing that he would be doing on stage. And so, I mean, he showed people, you know, he showed, for example, like myself, me and Cliff and Billy Fury, he showed us the kind of clothes you could wear, the kind of things you could do on stage, the songs you could sing, the way you did your hair, the way you looked, you know, wear bright colors, you know, relax and start, you know, come out as a young person and be yourself. And I know so I'm getting a bit excited, but it was such a time, and it was one of the greatest moments, not only in my life, but in many people's lives, because that moment, that early moment with Elvis, later on it kind of changed because he went to Vegas and it was that kind of a show, and I understood that, but my real huge passion with Elvis was those early years and what he gave to the world and to young boys and young girls, you know, it was an exciting time.
Yeah, it's so fantastic to hear it, you know, from your perspective. And, you know, we have to talk about the fact that you're still touring and you're still gigging. And there's a particular gig that we at London Live are very excited about, which is on your home turf in Blackheath. So I wonder what made you want to come back and play, you know, in South East London?
Because it's home. I love it. No one will ever take that London out of me, never. And funny enough, I laugh, you know, I lived in Hertfordshire now for quite a number of years. It's only just if I lose my temper with somebody, out comes the London accent, and I start, right, mate, and then I change, and I suddenly realise I'm still that Londoner. So to be back in Blackheath is an honour for me. You know, I can't wait to get out there. I want to show them what I can do, and I want them to enjoy it, and I know they will at Blackheath. And I know it's going to be an extremely emotional night for me because, as I say, that the feeling I haven't been back there for years, and I spent all my youth there, sailing my boat on Blackheath Pond, on the pond on Blackheath, going in the park, playing with the boys. All we used to go up there. And the whole thing is one. And Blackheath Village was so classy, Georgian buildings and classy people, and the whole thing is just fantastic. So I can't wait to get back. I know I sound excited, but I am.
No, absolutely, and you should be excited. Well, you know, you spoke a little bit about your upbringing and your family, but of course, you yourself, along with your wife, have created a very musical family. And I wonder if you could tell us what it's sort of still like working and recording with your daughters.
Oh, it's fantastic. I asked Roxanne, I mean, obviously Kim sang on the Elvis track with me. She sang a lot of harmonies with me. But Roxanne sang I said to her, I only want you to do a couple of bits on the song. And she couldn't get over that. I said, but what you're going to do is, though it's small, it's important. So we work together often, and particularly with Roxy and obviously Kim as well. But I mean, Kim's got her own career, so I try to keep out of that, really. I don't want to get in the way of that. That's her career. And although I did, you know, I wrote the songs and things with my son, but and you know, we had the hits, but I still you know, I don't like to really appear on stage too often with her because, you know, she's got her own young life, you know.
No, of course, it's fantastic. You know, we're all very excited about it. And finally, you know, I could see you've got a guitar in your hands throughout this interview. I wonder, could you just send us off with a little ditty, maybe?
The chords are gorgeous.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Marty.
My great pleasure.